So, this is a second video I'm making to actually talk about how Hillary Clinton cheated her way to winning the Democratic nomination and how she ended up losing the presidency to Donald Trump. So this is part two. The first video I talked about how she cheated Bernie Sanders out of the nomination and how the corporate media and corporate Democrats supported her, this and the other. This video I'm going to talk about how she lost the election abysmally. Like, more Democrats lost seat in this election than any other election in the United States history. That is how bad this election was. And it is all Hillary Clinton's fault. Well, Hillary Clinton's fault and the corporate media and the political establishment. That's who's to blame for this. And they need to take the blame. And people need to know that they are the ones to blame for Donald Trump being president. That just straight incompetence and arrogance on the part of the Hillary Clinton campaign. So, around the time it turns out that Hillary Clinton is going to get the nomination, Bernie Sanders decides to concede, and it actually came out during that point in time that Debbie Wasserman Schultz had rigged the system, and there was proof in favor of Hillary Clinton. So, most undemocratic Democratic primary goes down, and it's time for the convention. So, like you would expect, a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters are pissed off and they're angry. They're going there to voice their dissent, their anger, their frustration about having this entire process, the entire system rigged. And Bernie Sanders supporters were passionate. I mean, we were really down for the cause. We wanted to work and do everything we could to help Democrats get elected and help Bernie Sanders get into office. And what ends up happening is the DNC not only squashes the Bernie Sanders movement, but humiliates and mocks it. So the first few days of the DNC, there's protests, people are booing, this, that, and the other. And instead of letting the Bernie Sanders supporters, voice their dissent and their frustration in an open environment to let them know that the DNC is listening, that they actually care about their concerns, that they're going to allow this to go on. Instead of that, they start taking away signs. They start revoking people's passes to even be in there. They turn off the lights of the entire Washington delegation because of the fact that they have signs that they don't want to be seen. It is just abysmal. An abysmal failure on the part of the DNC and the Hillary Clinton campaign. And at the end of it all, she nominates Tim Kaine, who is pro-TPP and as pro-Wall Street as you can get. A corporatist, like corporatist. And he's also milquetoast, so uninspiring. So instead of Hillary Clinton nominating a VP who's actually progressive and giving the Bernie Sanders supporters an olive branch to show that she's actually serious about what she says, she does literally the exact opposite and nominates a person who's pro-TPP and pro-Wall Street when Bernie Sanders ran on being against Wall Street and the TPP. So, not only did they try to destroy the Bernie Sanders movement and dehumanize them, they mocked them openly. And that wasn't ever clear after what happened with Debbie Wasserman Schultz. So, Debbie Wasserman Schultz rigs the primary, it comes out, and then it's time for Debbie's reckoning. And she has to step down for the DNC. The very next day, Hillary Clinton hires her to run, I think it's a huge position in the national campaign. So what that message was to every Bernie Sanders supporter is Hillary Clinton does not only endorse corruption, she rewards it. And the corporate media didn't pick it up. The corporate media really didn't make a story out of it. So after that, the distrust for the corporate media, people like MSNBC and CNN, is solidified to the highest degree. So Bernie Sanders supporters are already looking at them like, you're crap, you're not letting us have our voices heard, and you're just corrupt. I mean, the corporate media is corrupt. And now they have to deal with Donald Trump. So good job with that. But corporate media is corrupt. But what happens is, because of the fact that they are so against any dissenting opinions, Bernie Sanders supporters just step away. So what ends up being created is an echo chamber. An echo chamber of the freaking stupid rich who have never had to fear what a president would do because of the fact that they have such a high economic status that they are nowhere near any possibility of being negatively affected by a particular presidential candidate, so on and so forth. So they're happy. Like, Hillary Clinton's got this in the bag, Donald Trump's a buffoon, yada, 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 and they're all patting themselves on the back and all saying how great Hillary Clinton is day in and out. And this creates an echo chamber that distances themselves from not only real journalism, but they hadn't done that the entire primary, so it's not, you wouldn't expect it, but it distances themselves from the truth. Because at the end of the day, if you're working 60 hours a week, 50, 60 hours a week, and when you work at 50, 60 hours a week and you still are struggling financially, a symbolic victory for women doesn't inspire you all that much to go out and vote. But that's what Hillary Clinton ran on. And that's what the corporate media and all the late night talk show hosts presented to people. You want to talk about John Oliver, Trevor Noah, Samantha Bee, Seth Meyers. It was all the same thing. Hillary Clinton is great. Hillary Clinton is awesome. This, that, yada, 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 yada. It tells Bernie Sanders supporters, you can't insult our intelligence more than by doing that. Like, Hillary Clinton is great. She's so wonderful. This is after it came out she cheated. This is after it came out that she lied the entire time about her emails. The entire time she lied about her emails. The corporate media doesn't say anything about that. And then after Bernie Sanders is gone, they completely shut out any dissenting opinions. Completely shut out any dissenting opinions. And what this creates is, like I said, is just a bubble, an echo chamber of rich people who are just so far up their own self-righteous egos that they cannot see what is really going on, and they cannot see how corrupt she is, so no one is telling her, maybe we should switch up this strategy. Because I remember watching Bill Maher and just being like, you egotistical idiot. Like, you're not being honest about how she's not the greatest candidate, and you're painting her to be so freaking great that we can't trust you. And we not only don't trust you, we don't like you. And it becomes harder and harder and harder to support her because at the end of the day, it's just like you're lying. And you're not only lying, you're involved within this corruption. And we can tell for an absolute fact that you're not going to tell us the truth. And then that just continued and continued and continued. And so what happens is Donald Trump continues being awful. Corporate media continues repeating it like just on loop all day, 24/7, and ignoring anything and everything that comes out about Hillary Clinton. And so that continues and continues and continues and continues. And Hillary Clinton runs a campaign purely based on one thing. I'm a woman and not Donald Trump. Vote for me. I'm a woman, not Donald Trump. Vote for me. I'm a woman, not Donald Trump. Vote for me. And to all the people who don't have any financial stake in how the country is actually going to go, they ate it up. It was perfectly great. Like, she's a woman, the first woman president, not Donald Trump. This election is in the bag. But never occurred to them, maybe you should have an ad about what you're going to do for, like, climate change, or what you're going to do for, police reform, or what you're going to do to fight the TPP, or America's dependence on, oil industry, or help students with their debt, or anything. Literally anything. Maybe you should have created an ad where you gave the American people at least some fucking idea about what you were trying to do with this country. But instead of that, I'm a woman, Donald Trump's horrible. Vote for me. I'm a woman, Donald Trump's horrible. And the problem is, people like Seth Meyers, they're all in their own echo chamber. And like I said, they are all telling each other, all these rich people were telling all the other rich people that everything's going to be fine. Hillary Clinton's got it in the bag. Guess what? The vast majority of America isn't as rich as you are, isn't as comfortable as you are. So instead of you understanding that maybe you're in a better position than most Americans, you decided to allow your own personal bias to conclude what was going to happen in this election, and it screwed up everything. And so after all that comes out, it comes out to remind all the Bernie Sanders supporters that the person who replaced Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the person who rigged the entire Democratic primary for Hillary Clinton, turns out that Donna Brazile, the person who replaced Debbie Wasserman Schultz, was another person who was cheating the entire time for Hillary Clinton, giving her debate questions throughout the entire primary and supporting her behind the scenes when she was supposed to be a neutral party. So Bernie Sanders are even more more demoralized by the end of this and just disgusted. And the corporate media continues the story about this, that, and the other, but by that time, the damage was done, because at the end of the day, Hillary Clinton ran an incompetent campaign, and her own egotism and focus on herself is what ended up destroying any hopes of the Democrats taking back the Senate. And it was because of the fact that the corporate media and corporatists thought that they knew better than the American people. So we now have a Donald Trump presidency. And it's because of Hillary Clinton and the corruption of the corporate media and corporate Democrats that God is here. So hope you guys are happy. Yay! Donald Trump. Now it's time to take out the DNC and afterwards fight Donald Trump. You people are horrible.